Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talking Packers with Steve. Earlier this week, I did Steve's hosting Rambo, part of Main Event Marks. Did my first movie review of Deadpool earlier this week, and tomorrow afternoon, probably, I'll be doing another movie review. This time, Zootopia will be the movie of choice in that review. But here, the NFL show here, Talking Packers with Steve on the road, not on the road to WrestleMania, but on the road to 2016 NFL Draft. A couple of news items that I wanted to bring up here in this episode. Unfortunately, my compadre Steppy is unable to join us. John, he's busy doing other things. So maybe and hopefully we'll have him next week as we get closer and closer to the 2016 NFL Draft. If anything, hopefully we can have him after the episode before the week of the NFL Draft. To get his predictions for the first round, along with others that anybody else that wants to join in from my Main Event Marks show that I'm part of, that is hosted by a recruiter. Hopefully, he and others will be able to join in there, because that'd be awesome. I think that this NFL Draft, at least in the quarterback realm, it's not as deep as it's been in the past. I mean, there's at least one or two that deservedly deserves to be in the first round, to be drafted in the first round, let alone drafted in the top 10 of the first round in the 2016 NFL Draft. Unlike the last few years where you had 4 or more quarterbacks in that same position. But it's just different. It's just how it is. Year to year, things change. So, but like I said, when we get closer and closer to the draft itself, excuse me, I'll get my predictions for the first round. My predictions what I think the Packers will do, what they should do in the whole entire draft, not just round 1 or round 2, but entirely, kind of look the whole world in his hands for a situation. And we'll see what they do when we get to the NFL Draft this year. Again, second year in a row, it will be held in Chicago. Maybe I'll be able to go there. Maybe not. We'll see. It's like I'm trying to see something for WrestleMania. If not, to go to New York to visit my friends to watch WrestleMania there. But we'll see in that situation as well. But here with the NFL and the NFL Draft and other NFL news, Peyton Manning signed to retire as a Bronco, not as an Indianapolis Colt. I kind of thought that it would be best for him, best for business, best for the NFL, best for anything and everyone involved in that situation for him to retire as an Indianapolis Colt. And that's where his career started, took off, and ultimately should end, is with the Colts. Yes, he finished his career as a Super Bowl champion. That's the best way a person wants to end their career, no matter what sport, NFL, NBA, whatever you do. You want to leave as champion. You're the reigning defending champion. So it was kind of surprising to me to hear that he would want to do that, but then again, with how he left Indianapolis and how things were that way, maybe not. But then again, in our situation with Brett Favre, he was able to come back to Green Bay. He retired with us, and he went into the Packer Hall of Fame. He went into the Packer Ring of Honor this last season, and me and John were there. My cohort, John, were both there in that game at that game on Thanksgiving night, that cold, rainy night. See his name being in the Ring of Honor and retire his number. And this August or this summer at some point, he will be going to the NFL Hall of Fame. And, it'd be great to be there live too. But he's good enough to be there for Thanksgiving. So in our situation, Favre came back to us. Favre is home. Favre is with the team that he should be, and going to the Hall of Fame as a member of the team that he should be. He should be going to the Hall of Fame as a Minnesota Viking, and certainly heck not as a New York Jet, but as a Green Bay Packer. He won a Super Bowl here in Green Bay. He carried this franchise on his back, him and Reggie White, the late Reggie White, after they both came to the Green Bay Packers in 1992 in the offseason of that year. I took our team to where it is even now. I mean, yeah, their careers ended a while ago, but from there, then we had Aaron Rodgers, then we have had Donald Driver. Just like back in the day, we had Robert Brooks, Antonio Freeman, and a wide receiver core along with the gunslinger Brett Favre. So I thought the same situation with Peyton Manning, who his heyday was in the same era as Brett Favre did in Reno and others, Steve Young, that he would retire as an Indianapolis Colt, that he would want to do that he would think that would be best for him, best for everybody involved. It would be interesting to see what M.E., one of my friends and member of the Made About Mark show, what he would think about this, being an Indianapolis Colts fan, about Peyton Manning as of now deciding to retire as a Bronco. Now, does this mean that when he gets to his time to be a first ballot Hall of Famer like Brett Favre this year, is he going to go into the Hall of Fame as a Denver Bronco? So it seems that way. The team you retire with is going to be the team that you're associated with the rest of your life. He's retired with that franchise. So going to the Hall of Fame for Peyton Manning as a Denver Bronco seems a little weird to me than going to the Hall of Fame as an Indianapolis Colts. He won a Super Bowl for both teams, but his legacy is more important, bigger, in my opinion, in Indianapolis than in Denver. But then again, that's to each his own in that regard. I would just hope that he would have thought this through a little bit more. And really thought about it. Why he would choose this team over the other. That's not just all selfish reasons either. That because of the Colts had to move on, they had to move on. They pushed him on the door. He had to go. Things had to change, and they're going to build without him. That was just business. You don't want to have an angst or animosity towards him because of that, and you don't want to make a decision irrationally because of that situation. So it has to be more. It has to be. No, it has to be. Just gotta be. Peyton Manning's smarter than that. He's better than that. At least I believed he was. But then again, it's his decision. I'm sure Glass or Team Boy TV Live and Give It the Sports is glad to hear this news because that's his team. And so I understand that. But again, I just think it would have been best if he went into the sunset, so to speak, as an Indianapolis Colts, and then go into the Hall of Fame as a member of the Indianapolis Colts franchise. But like I said, that's just my opinion, and if I had John or others on the show, I would ask them theirs as well. The other piece of news, big news, Robert Griffin III, not Colin Kaepernick, but Robert Griffin III is going to be the next starting quarterback in Cleveland, signing only going to be guaranteed $7.8 million, I believe, from his, in his contract each year. That really shows the decline of his since his rookie year, since his grand year he had his first year in with the Washington Redskins. I know many pundits, whether it's Skip Bayless or others, that believe RG3, not only in year one, but in general, was going to be better than Andrew Luck. Now, I personally thought that RG3 was going to be better than Andrew Luck for the first couple of years. Like, I thought maybe the first 5 years, whatever, RG3 would be doing well. Redskins either missing the playoffs first 2 years and then making it or whatever, however that would have gone. And then I thought Andrew Luck would catch up. And I thought they would just be neck and neck for the rest of their career like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Not really surpassing each other, but being each other's equal. But that certainly wasn't the case. No, it wasn't. I was wrong. And I admit that I was wrong. It didn't go out. It didn't go to that plan. It didn't go to what I predicted or assumed that it could have been from when I made that prediction and assumption during the NFL draft. They were both in going number 1 and number 2. But even with his shortcomings and the last couple of years being a mess in a way, on the field and off the field antics as well, I think maybe being in Cleveland might be good for him. Maybe he can try to break the curse in Cleveland with the quarterbacks. Or maybe he'll just be another name to add to that list. But there's no list that can beat the list of Cleveland of quarterbacks that Mr. Say didn't do what they're supposed to do. Didn't live up to par. Didn't really do much. I mean, you could try to give me a list of the Lions, the Raiders, other teams of quarterbacks. I know they had that one list they showed of all the quarterbacks the Detroit Lions had between the years of 1993 and currently, and us Packers only having 2 starting quarterbacks on our list: Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and that sort of thing. But the Browns will always have all those other lists and quarterback things beaten. But maybe, just maybe, RG3 can resurrect his career in Cleveland. Maybe things will be different. And hopefully Cleveland can do something and start building themselves up. I've been talking about the Jaguars and the Raiders, two teams in the AFC that I see and already predicted in an episode. I believe it was last week or the week before. But the Jaguars and the Raiders both will be in the playoffs next year. That was my bold prediction. I'm going to stick to it, of course, but I think Cleveland, with RG3 now, maybe can sneak up, maybe not this year, but next year. At least grow, at least being on a positive track for the dog pound, for the fans of the Cleveland Browns to actually have a belief that their team can have success. And then after having success, then that fan base can be like how we are in Green Bay. Or fans of the New England Patriots, like the Joe Cronin show, how they feel. That the Cleveland Browns fans can feel a sense of we belong. That each and every year we should be in the top of teams that should be making the playoffs, let alone maybe even reaching the Super Bowl. Start getting to that. Now that's years down the road, but you never know. Or not a single one of those things will happen, and RG3 will just continue to regress even more in Cleveland and just end his career total 360 of view than it was when he started his NFL career. But I wish him best. I don't wish anything negative against him or anybody in the NFL. I'm not that type of person. There's players I like and don't like. I'm just like any other NFL fan, but that doesn't mean I wish injury or 0-16 seasons for the players. No. So hopefully RG3 can resurrect his career, can have good seasons with the Browns, and the Browns as a team collectively can move on from Johnny Manziel and actually have a true future. But then that also brings me to Johnny Manziel. Hopefully, he can get right, talk to people that he needs to fix his issues and go from there. I wish him the best as well. But those two are the main topics that I wanted to talk about here tonight on the show. And hopefully, like I said, next week John will be able to join us. Maybe others, maybe Angry Cooter, Mike Cologne, ME, and some other NFL fans and friends of mine will be able to give their thoughts on things that I've talked about here in the past couple of weeks and tonight here on Talking Packers with Steve. But I think everybody that's watched and will be watching later, welcome to subscribe. If you're not subscribed, sure, like this video, leave a comment in the comment section below of your thoughts, if you agree, disagree. Even if we disagree, it leads to good debate and good communication as well. But have a great rest of your evening, and I will be back tomorrow afternoon with my next movie review. As always, take care.